All right, is everything loading up? We're trying to get all of these to load at the same time. Are they going to go? Looks like they are. All right, Facebook is live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. YouTube is live too. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, getting my third cardio session of the day going. Let's hop over. Let's get the Facebook going also here, right? Get the Facebook going, the profile. So we're going to triple stream for you guys again, and kind of just keep it going, and talk to all my people, all my adoring, loving fans here. I'm trying to be better about that, of accepting compliments and that I have actual fans. That's always a hard thing for me though, especially the compliments. Like I don't do compliments really well. Like I don't know how to take them. I think especially for me as someone who used to be well over 300 pounds up in fat, and I got sick again, gained a bunch of weight. When the people give the compliments on my physique or body, it's like it's still strange to me. Even after all these years, it still takes getting used to, and I get them all the time. I get them in public, I get them online. Like every time I go shopping, um, I get them the same thing online, and it's hard to get used to. So that's just something that's, I think, difficult for some of us to accept who have been really obese and stuff before, when we do have a good physique or a good body by most people's standards. Obviously, the bodybuilding world hates me, but that's okay. You know, so it's hard to get used to that, and it's kind of like I'm shy about the compliments sometimes, especially though when they're really over the top. It's just like, come on, dude, that's a bit much. When people go on and on, but that's okay. It just takes some getting used to. It's just kind of fun. But I think that's normal. That's normal for any of us who have been really, really legitimately out of shape. Like I was over 300 pounds, before. It does take some getting used to it for us to learn to accept those compliments. But yeah, Feed Me Mortals, please says, drop my first like for the granddaddy, your company granddaddy. That's hilarious. All right, all good, man. I can run with that though. I mean, I turned 49 this year, guys. It is what it is. I got gray chest hair happening. What do you do, man? What do you do? It's all good though. But yeah, we are triple streaming for anyone curious. On my computer, I've got YouTube and my Facebook fitness page, and then on my phone over here, I got my Facebook profile. So we're just triple dipping into those streams today, right? We're going to triple dip into it. Hopefully get some decent views. I still might take a walk after this. It's nice outside. If I can keep a good signal, it's really pretty out there. All right. I did a 2-hour walk this morning, but part of me is like, oh, we can go do another walk here. I don't know where I'm going to stream it at though. But we already did over 3 hours today of the list. I'm going to keep it going. I need to again focus super hard on just the cut at this point. Double down, just get lean. All right. I mean, looking at those pictures we have of the side chest and all that, I'm bigger. I'm definitely bigger than I always think that I am. I need to just cut, right? That's going to be where the outreach and the influence is for me. Gustav says, hey, Jason, what's up, Gustav? How you doing, man? Doing good, bro? Any questions, comments? Hit that like button, Gustav. Let's get those likes up on the YouTube. The more likes we get early, the better the stream tends to go in terms of the health of the stream. Brian Neal says, that's right, man. Triple dipping, bro. We are triple dipping into all the streams. So Brian's over here on the Facebook fitness page. Yeah, so I mean, that's the idea. We are streaming on 3 different platforms concurrently. Get the most views, get the most outreach, and the most ad revenue. Sagman says, Jason, do you think HIIT cardio is effective in losing fat? Objectively, no, it's going to be inferior to LIST because you just can't handle much of it, and it interferes with your lifting. So the problem with HIIT cardio is largely dead. Even Dr. Helms said that 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago. He said, look, HIIT is dead. HIIT cardio, this is not the way. Hey, Antsy, the fact that you even know about that makes you a troll. Get out of here. All right. Next. Done. We're not doing that. Plus, I'm anti-video game as I've gotten older. Matthias says, hey, Coach, how are you? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How about you, Matthias? Video gaming is a worthless time sink for men. It literally interferes with your productivity, right? It interferes with your productivity. It's, again, just a useless time sink. And that's how I feel about it, you know. And I think that's a good position to have. And a lot of guys don't want to hear that. Guys don't want to hear that. They get upset when you say that. They love their video games. And I get it. But if it's interfering, if you're doing it for hours and hours, not just 30 minutes here or there, it is interfering with your productivity as a man and living a fulfilling life. Matthias says, doing good, drop my like. Appreciate it, man. Get them likes up. The more we get in here early in this one, the better, right? Excess phone use has replaced. Has it really? Has it really replaced it, though? I mean, I got my excess phone use going now, man. I got stuff streaming everywhere. I'm streaming 3 different live streams to people's phones, right? I guess I am contributing to that. But at least that can be productive. It's businesses. It's business. You can learn stuff. You can learn skills. You can learn. I'm teaching people about fitness. I'm putting out programming advice, diet advice, helping people. You can learn stuff on the phone. You're not learning anything in a video game. At least if you're following places with worthwhile information, you are learning things of value. I mean, that's what I'm personally do with all my time, either talking to people, you know, that are in my life, friends, family, loved ones, or, you know, I'm learning. Shamar says, Jason, what would you say is worse? A person who doesn't drink alcohol but smokes weed every single night, whereas person B doesn't smoke but binge drinks and gets blackout drunk once a week? I'm going to say that alcohol is the worst of the two in that case. I'll agree. They're both bad for your health. So, but I think we can objectively quantify that. Shimar, we can quantify that. Neither one of those is healthy, but I think it's reasonable to say the person who's getting blackout drunk once a week, it is a larger negative. Okay. It is going to have a larger negative effect than the guy who's smoking a bit of weed every night. It's definitely worse for their health, their fitness, everything. Right? So again, if we have to pick, I think that's an easy one. I mean, and I think it's fair to say, and again, I don't smoke weed. I'm not a weed guy. I'll get over to you a second, Brian. Brian asked what cardio am I doing? I'm riding my recumbent bike, by the way. Sometimes I can show it sometimes, but it's too hard to do when I'm set on the desk now that I have a desktop set up. So I did a 2-hour brisk walk this morning on camera. I did an hour on this bike, my recumbent bike. I have all my mic and keyboard and everything set up on the desk. It's a desk bike. So then I'm doing pretty high setting. I'm doing this. This is my second hour of doing the bike. I did a full hour earlier. So it's just less cardio. But back over to that other point, while weed is certainly not healthy for you at all, really, especially smoking anything. The smoking is the real issue. Alcohol is objectively worse, right? It's objectively worse for your health. It's objectively worse for your fitness and body fat. It's objectively worse for violence, mindset, everything else, right? Alcohol causes way more violence, way more accidents, way more cancer, diabetes. Yes, it has a contribution to all of that. So, I mean, if we've got to, I want to make sure this doesn't get closed out on the profile here. It's objectively worse by every metric. And I know neither one is great, but I mean, especially getting completely drunk once a week. Yeah. That's pretty far down the list of harm to your health. Man, we saw some other stuff. I just saw a big study that came out a few days ago. I probably need to talk about too, saying that refined sugars and refined meats, like processed meats, that there's also, just like with alcohol, there may be no lower limit to the health negatives. So that's why I tell people just avoid this stuff. Don't eat processed meats. Don't eat really high saturated fat foods. Don't eat refined sugar. Don't drink alcohol. There's plenty of great foods that don't have any of these things in them, right? Leaner meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, rice. You know, you don't have to have any of these things, but some of the data was showing, yeah, some of these things still carry cancer risks and stuff, even at very relatively small amounts. So when you say they mean it's a big study, but they mentioned definitely, just like the ones on alcohol, we saw the ones on alcohol that showed that one drink a month measurably increases the risk of 7 types of cancers. It's a carcinogen. It's like a level 4 carcinogen, even at one drink a month. It has a measurable impact on cancer rates. So they're saying a lot of that with the processed red meats. When we say that, they're not talking about eating a steak. So we need to be clear. Someone who's eating a sirloin steak, that is not what we're talking about, right? It's the bacon, the sausage, all that stuff. So I think some of it was saying it looks like refined sugars, there are some health risks with any intake, right? So even in moderation, it still has some not healthy, meaning there is a measurable reduction in health, in certain health markers or risks, even in moderation. Just like with alcohol, we saw that. That's been verified repeatedly. One drink a month is enough to measurably increase cancer rates. So they're finding it with red meat. I need to read the data a lot closer, but it was a pretty large meta-analysis. I mean, that's your big three. Like if we're really going to look at your big three, it's going to be the refined meats, right? Again, bacon, sausage, right? These are, if people don't know what we mean by that, salami. To some extent, possibly lunch meats with too many nitrates, but anything excessively high in saturated fat, refined sugars, alcohol. Those are your big three. Like if you just cut those 3 things out, you do well in general. Like your health potential and your fitness levels are going to be dramatically higher if you just simply remove those 3 things from your life. Like that's your big 3 right there. You know, Brian says, damn, getting lean, working on it. So that's the plan, man. I'm gonna shred on down, Brian. That is what we're doing. That's why I'm doing all the cardio. I'm down to 210 right now. I'm going to drop to about 190. I'm going to just get shredded, get my waist back to 30 inches, deep abs. And that's going to be what we do here. So the people on my profile who are watching too, they probably don't know what I'm doing. So I'll chat over with you guys because a lot of these people are here from the memes. They don't know I'm a fitness personality online for 13 years. I'm doing my cardio. I'm triple streaming everywhere. So I got my phone on my profile, doing lives while I do my fitness page and my YouTube channel on the computer. But I figure I have lives here. I have an audience here. If people want to hear what I'm doing, it's another stream. We're just triple dipping in it. But yeah, Brian, that's the idea. To get really, really lean at this point, that is the goal. That's what we're doing. So I'm kind of rotating through the 3 platforms for the questions. All right, back over to the YouTube is the one kicking off the most though. Course, it's interesting. And they kept flip-flopping already. No, they did not really. No, there's been a lot of back and forth on red meat, but we've always known there's a quantitative end. Does that make sense? And that's what I try to tell people. If you really dig into the data, it's obvious that really, really high fat red meats in excess are a problem. Nobody's really telling you that a sirloin steak is going to kill you with some broccoli on the side. Okay, so we need to be clear on that. We're looking at total intake of saturated fat relative to other cardioprotective stuff in your diet. So in other words, I point that out too. You can eat red meat every day without significant health risks. Okay. Here's going to be your context. If you're fit and athletic, you're still moderating the saturated fat. You're sticking to leaner cuts, a sirloin or a flank steak. You can get away with that every day. And your diet is rich in cardioprotective stuff. Shimas, I appreciate the super chat and the donation. Thank you so much. That is greatly appreciated. That's the first super chat of the weekend, in spite of all this. Last weekend was popping. But hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm not sure what that translates to into US dollars, but thank you. It'll tell me at the end. So, but so the thing with the red meat, it's always been the really fatty, large amounts, but it's still a quantitative thing with the saturated fat from it. So usually the saturated fat in red meat is stearic acid specifically. In large amounts, absolutely a problem. Elevates LDL. LDL is the primary driver of atherosclerosis. This isn't even debated anymore. The data is overwhelming. Even that recent keto study, pro-keto study, confirmed that the lipid hypothesis is correct. The blood work was horrible, right? All those metabolically healthy, lean people who worked out, who ate a large amount of saturated fat, in that study, they gained 25 millimeters of arterial soft plaque in 1 year in the study. With no insulin resistance, all active, none of them overweight. That's scary. So that study confirmed the lipid hypothesis. So if your LDL is elevated, yes, you're going to accumulate atherosclerosis. It confirmed that. But your protective things to keep the LDL down is going to be, are you cutting the other junk out? Do you have cardioprotective stuff in your diet? In other words, all right, what do you want to eat with that steak? You have some vegetables with it. I mean, this is your simple solution. If you're not eating huge amounts of saturated fat, you're not eating refined sugars, you're not drinking alcohol, and you're eating your vegetables, you're not going to see a negative effect of eating an 8-ounce sirloin every day. You're just not. So again, context is relevant. Context matters. Okay? So you have to understand this. So even me as someone who's telling you large amounts of saturated fat are deadly, absolutely deadly, I'm not telling you not to eat a steak, because there is a quantitative aspect to it. And there's also what does the totality of your diet look like? But we should be, pushing in the direction of consuming healthier fats. So that's kind of like when we bring up dairy. We know butter kills the hell out of you. We can see the data on it. Whole milk doesn't, even with the same amount of fat, doesn't elevate LDL. So it's not necessarily causing atherosclerosis. It doesn't seem to, right? Whole milk in its normal state, because there's cardioprotective aspects that blunt the raising the LDL from the saturated fat. But we could make the case it doesn't have any health benefits either. It's an empty saturated fat calorie. It also tends to be relatively fattening if you're not careful. Could you fill that same fat with healthy fats that actually have benefits? Like, could you drink skim milk or do fat-free dairy and have an avocado instead of the whole milk and be way better off? So I would say the same thing. That's exactly it. So the person who wants to do the steak, well, what are you eating with it? You having some avocado with it? Have an avocado with that sirloin steak and some broccoli, if you're going to go even a slightly lower carb approach. And that works fine, even though I promote carbohydrates. If you're going to do a lower carb approach and you want fats in there, eat the healthy fats, right? That avocado will offset the bit of saturated fat quite a bit. So will the broccoli, in terms of improving lipid profile. So you have to look at the red meat in that context. Now you come over to the processed red meat that has all the nitrates in it, which are carcinogenic. Okay. So you take bacon, that's what they're talking about. My last cheat meal was on Christmas. Until I am lean enough, I can't justify cheat meals right now, Shimar. I'm cutting, so there's no cheat meals. When I get to 8% body fat and have a deep six-pack, I can get away with a cheat meal here and there. But keep in mind, cheat meals are a cheat meal, not a cheat day. Big difference. Please do make that video on the refined sugar study. I need to look into it just came out. It's less than a week old. Feed me, this meta-analysis is only a few days old. I just saw it yesterday. So as I eat relatively clean most of the time, so I just want some fries. So Shimar. So every now and then you just want to get a burger and some French fries. One meal. Are you lean? Are you metabolically healthy? Are you physically active? Do you lift weights? Do you do cardio? You eat a clean diet, you're metabolically healthy. I think having a burger and fries once every 10 days is not going to have any negative effect if you're staying inside your total calorie balance and everything. But if you're not as lean as you want to be, it's a problem. But I mean, if you're lean, metabolically healthy, you're active, doing something like that once every 9 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, I don't think it's going to have any negatives. It's the frequency, doing it all the time, right? That's what we're looking at. It's, do I need some French fries every day? But I would say even if you're working it in too frequently, it's a problem. A lot of really lean people, you can probably get away with one cheat meal a week, but you better be rocking a six-pack and be doing it, training hard if you want to have no negative outcomes. You can get away with a cheat meal every week, though. If you're very active, metabolically healthy, lean, abs, you shouldn't see any negative from, a cheat meal once a week. You want to have some pizza once a week. You want a burger and fries for one meal a week on a Friday night or whatever. Shouldn't have any real problem. Yeah, I agree. I don't know how TF Americans, no offense to you, directly eat fast food. I don't either. No, believe me, I give my own society a hard time for this also, dude. Right? And they should be given a hard time for it. It's literally insane. Right? It's ludicrous that people consider that a lunch or a meal. No. This is why we're fat. This is why we're dying of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancer. We worry about the wrong stuff in our society. I mean, all things considered, people worry about violence and other stuff. Do they not understand your odds of dying from that versus a heart attack? They're like 50 to 1. I mean, technically, drunk drivers are more likely to kill you. In America, you're more likely to be killed by a drunk driver than you are by a homicide. Realistically, you got to gamble on it. Which one's most likely to get you? If you're not an active gang member involved in gang violence or organized crime, your odds of being killed by a drunk driver in America are higher than someone popping you. Just if you're normal working class person. So, we come back over to that, the drinking and driving too. But again, heart attack, number one killer. That's what kills Americans. Heart attack, cancer, diabetes, stroke, in that order. That's your top 4. Well, we eat McDonald's. We think McDonald's is a lunch. We look at that and go, oh, that's a normal meal. Yeah, no. We got to have a dessert with everything. We got to have a 800 calorie frappuccino loaded full of heavy cream and refined sugar. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's insane and it's unsustainable and it's killing the hell out of us. Right? Like going to a drive-thru every day. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely ludicrous. People live like that, but the problem is that it's considered acceptable or normal. Like here in the U.S., this is what's hurting us. And then people are worried about the wrong stuff. They're worried about the frying in seed oils. I'm like, dude, you need to be worried about frying in anything. Like, that's a crazy conversation too. Replace the seed oils with beef tallow. It's going to get worse. Objectively, every single health marker from using beef tallow is worse than the seed oil. Why you need to get rid of all of it, to be fair. The seed oil is the lesser of the two evils in that case, objectively looking at the data. How about you quit going to McDonald's? There's your solution. Solution is not to replace the seed oils, it's to quit eating the garbage to begin with. Right? Why can't you have some chicken and rice? Why can't you have a steak and an avocado? Why are you eating this garbage? That's the problem we have. People are not grasping. Why are they eating this garbage to begin with? And I'm saying that as someone who used to be 320 pounds took up distance running, got down to 170, then got into powerlifting 25 years ago. You know, and now I'm getting more into fitness coaching more than strength coaching. Quite frankly, I don't care about coaching elite powerlifters so much anymore as helping people just get really super ridiculously fit. Doing my dad bod to daddy transformations is way more, you know, rewarding to me than getting people on a national level platform. I mean, do we really need to be getting people to 600-pound squats, or do I need to be getting people fit? Right? Getting the average mommy bod and daddy bod over to having a 6-pack with a decent strength base is definitely a better route than me getting some guys on a platform who can squat 600 pounds who are still not always healthy, because how many of them carrying too much body weight, how many of them are using too many PEDs. I try to keep my guys from going too crazy down that road, but they don't always listen. But to be fair, I've also gotten some guys to nationals on tiny amounts, untested nationals. But that's kind of its own topic. You know, as a coach, I deal with that too. That client, that lifter who you say, hey, you're using too many drugs. And they're like, no, coach, I need more drugs. What are you supposed to do with that? You know, no, I need to add another 1,000 milligrams. It's like, you're going to die. All right. What do? You know? So, yeah, I would much rather push the fitness and longevity and health in than keep coaching elite lifters, to be honest. It's more rewarding, it's more financially rewarding, and it's more emotionally fulfilling. You know, oh, what's the strongest client you've ever had? You've seen some of them. I've put up some 700 plus pound deadlifts. You've seen on my channel, you've seen at least 2 guys deadlift 700 plus. I've had 3 clients you guys have seen clips of who hit. We didn't get to 700 with Brett. We got to 675. I've had a couple guys do over 700. I've put up a couple clients benching 420 up to about 450. You guys saw Perry do a 615 straight up, no wrap squat, weighing 205. He ended up doing his next meet after that. He did, I believe, 680. But he had dropped out of coaching. He didn't have the budget for the coaching anymore. So he dropped out of coaching and did a meet 6 weeks after I stopped coaching him and hit a 680 squat. It's like, Jesus Christ. Because I wasn't coaching him any longer, no credit for me, unfortunately. He broke a state record with that, like an open state record. I mean, I had some pretty strong clients, guys. But you've seen several of them, right? You've seen a few of them. All right. I don't know what's going on. No one's asking any questions. Yesterday's profile, from my Facebook profile, I had about 15 questions. There were people, I mean, one of my friends. So today it's been really quiet there. People have checked in though, but it's been quiet. I got some on Facebook though. Yeah. We just dip into the streams. We get what we can. But at least the YouTube's picking up here a little bit. So keep going, Shimar. Feed me mortals. Drop me some more questions, guys. Let's keep it flowing. All right, let's keep it flowing. Who do you think is more impressive, a 550 squat or a 350 bench? That's hard to say. 550 squat's harder than a 350 bench. On average, 550 squat's a little more difficult than a 350 bench. Now, had you said a 500 squat, I would have said they're tied. They're pretty much neck and neck. I think on the profile, though, I don't know how much longer I'm going to run it. It's not getting a lot of views. I don't want to over flood it here. All right, let me see what it's getting for views. It's not too bad. Is it going to tell me where it's at the moment? Yeah, it's doing okay. I'll leave it running a little longer. It cut off on me yesterday, though, on its own. So there's that. What's the profile? Jason Blaha. It gets confusing for people because my profile and my page both are Jason Blaha with a blue check mark. My profile, I don't do fitness stuff normally. These streams, it's my jokes and my memes are on my profile. I do all fitness on my page. My page is linked under everything. And here's the thing, go to the page because I don't take messages. So if people apply for coaching, I have missed coaching applications because people didn't go to the profile I link. They go to my spam folder. I had a coaching application sitting there for 3 weeks that I didn't even see because he didn't go to the profile that's linked or the page that's linked underneath all my videos. So he messaged and went to my spam folder and my private profile. But it's also a business. Like it's a professional profile and it's monetized. Everything I have is monetized. I don't have anything not monetized online. I don't know why anybody has any social media that's not monetized. I don't see the point. What's wrong with y'all? But, if you're someone who puts out content. But no, they're all Jason Blaha with blue checks. But go to my fitness page, Shimar. It's linked under all my videos. I do fitness stuff there. I do more there than I do Facebook or more than I do YouTube. I do way more Facebook content than YouTube. YouTube's just videos. And all my videos go to Facebook anyways. Right? All my shorts and reels go to Instagram also. So it's all there, man. Just go check it out, dude. Right? All right. I may go ahead and shut down the profile, though. I don't know because it's not really doing much at the moment. I don't think people are as interested there. Have you ever been told that you have an extremely handsome face? Yes, I have, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that compliment. I'm going to go ahead, though, and end the profile. It's been long enough. It's got a 30-minute. I'm going to turn it into a reel real quick. And then I will get back to you, lovely people, in here. Right? And then I'll put this back to charging. But yes, Charlie, I have been told that, but I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. But I will, again, as I let you guys know, I'm strictly taco, no burrito. But compliments are compliments. All right, we share this to a reel. Throw this on the charger. Because if I keep this fully charged, I'll go do a walk with this here later. So throw that phone up. All right, this may sound like a stupid question, but do you have any advice on how to start waking up earlier other than set your alarm, go to bed sooner, have better sleep hygiene, set your alarm to go sooner, and get in the habit of doing it. I'm up at like 4 a.m. I was doing my first cardio at 4:30 this morning on camera. So that first stream, I started at 4:33. I get up, I had my alarm set for 4. I woke up at 3:45 and went and turned my coffee pot on and came back and laid down until the alarm went off. Once you get in the habit of doing it, so do it with an alarm, learn to go to bed sooner, work on your sleep hygiene more, and you can get up sooner. I'm super productive in the mornings. I am very much a morning person. I am lazy at night. Dude, I'm a lazy mofo in the evening, but I am that productive morning guy. That's why I'm out there pounding that pavement at 4:30. So again, Benjamin Franklin said that, didn't he? Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Definitely the healthy. I don't know about the wealthy or wise, though. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I shaved the gray beard off, so I can't claim the wisdom part, right? Having that gray beard let me pretend to be wise and people would believe it. They're like, he's got a gray beard. He must have some wisdom. Yes, I'm way more productive in the morning, but I struggle. So it's setting habits. So like with everything else, you set habits. Habits breed discipline. So get in the habit. So get in the habit of going to bed earlier, better sleep hygiene so that you sleep better. And start setting that alarm to get up earlier. And once you get used to it, it just becomes your normal. Like I usually wake up before the alarm and then get whatever else I need done and go back to sleep till it goes off. Or I just go ahead and get up sometimes 5 minutes before, right? And just start my day. I'm like, it's going to go off anyways. Let's just wake up. And don't ever use a snooze button. Okay, that's another big thing. Snooze buttons absolutely do not work. There's been studied. We've known this for 20 years. They destroy sleep quality. That you get no quality sleep again from it, from that jarring awake and re-hitting it. It's actually almost useless sleep. So do not use the snooze button. That's a big key. Right? Avoid that. Just go ahead and get up. That will help you tremendously in that. All right. How many hours sleep? I shoot for 8 to 9 hours. Charles, we don't discuss any of my personal life at all. Please stick to fitness related questions. That is the current rule. Too many warnings gets a ban. This is a fitness only channel. I'm avoiding all fitness, non-fitness related questions on here in the lives. My YouTube is going to be exclusively fitness from now on. I've made a rule on that. I've been sticking to it for quite a little bit. So it's going to be enforced. It's not a fitness question. So strength, nutrition, training, or directly fitness related. It's all good, right? No offense. You don't have to apologize. You know the rule now. You didn't know you were breaking the rule. Now you know the rule. So now it's enforced. No need to apologize, bro. Yes, I go to bed super early. If I need to, I put on a mask. I have sleeping masks. So if I'm worried about sunlight interfering, I put a mask over my eyes. If the sun's still up when I want to go to bed. Problem solved. All right. You got to ask people, are they serious about getting their sleep or not? If you're serious, you make it work. Yeah, absolutely. Right, absolutely. Well, while you are asking no questions for a moment, and I'll just chat, I'm going to post some memes to groups. So that they're in on a timer all the time. So why would you post memes to groups? For the money. For the money. All right, next. I do think you could compete in the gold or silver era if you were today. I don't know about that. Maybe. But people have asked me about that. Were you going to do some masters bodybuilding? I'm like, no, because I'm not going to inject my shoulders. And without directly injecting your delts, they will never be big enough to be current bodybuilding standards. You can't do it by lifting weights. They want oversized, disproportionate delts. It is a requirement almost at this point. So if you're not shooting your delts, don't even bother. Do you discuss? Not anymore. Not on here. I don't need to. I mean, you see them there, but no, that is not fitness related, Charlie. You can go to Facebook for some of that. I occasionally put a reel up on my profile, but this is fitness, right? This is a fitness channel. It says Jason Blaha, Strength and Fitness. That's what we do here. Do you lift, Charlie? How much do you deadlift? What's your routine look like? Let's talk training. We need to help you out, Charlie. We need to get you cock diesel, right? That's the point. We got to be jacked, strong, lean, fit, healthy. I mean, talk about being handsome. Getting leaner will make your face objectively more handsome. Straight up. I'm switching to sumo deadlifts because my conventional has plateaued. Why? Every lift plateaus. You don't necessarily need to. You can, Shamar. I mean, there's nothing wrong with training both. I coach both. I have plenty of lifters who do both. But I don't know that that's always a good reason. I need to put up Ted's thing. Ted just hit a 535 sumo, by the way, last night. I need to put it up as a reel. All right. Ooh. My sumo is way weaker and I want to get it closer to my conventional. Okay, well then if that's what you want to do, I don't see an issue with that. You know, do as you need to do, brother. Right? Do whatever you need to do. Just had one of the quacks post one of his pro keto things and one of his books under my thing. I let him post it and I rebuke him because, you know, at the end of the day, it's still good back and forth. Why are people at this point, how can anybody after this last batch of research still promote a high saturated fat ketogenic diet? That study is literally the death blow. Let me be clear. As someone who can read science, that data for me as someone who used to do a high fat keto diet like that, I'm actually legitimately scared. I literally started taking a statin again this week, hoping that while I'm cutting, it will eat up some and lower some of the atherosclerosis that I may have accumulated having done that. I'm legitimately scared for my own health, having done keto diets based upon that last batch of data. Any person at this point who is even doing that sort of diet, like a carnivore or a ketovore type diet, anyone doing it at this point who has not seen this pro keto funded research has lost their mind. Like that data set is literally the death blow. That is the nail in the coffin. There is no coming back from that. No person can promote that sort of diet as healthy anymore. Because that was the most cherry-picked study possible done by pro keto researchers who tried to downplay the data. It is absolutely devastating because it was, so people need to understand in that data, those were non-obese, metabolically healthy, active people who followed keto diets, who were not obese, had no insulin resistance. They cherry-picked that group from keto groups. They cherry-picked it to bias their study. And when the data set came out, their cherry-picked magical group, the results were horrifying. It is pretty much evidence almost beyond any reasonable doubt that a high saturated fat keto diet is a death sentence. It's essentially suicide. Keep in mind, this was funded by and done by pro keto people who literally cherry picked their study for bias, and the results were still that scary. That's it. There is nothing further. That's the death blow. That's the nail in the coffin. You don't come back from that. So anyone still promoting it is basically evil. You can objectively say that anyone promoting it after that is killing people. All right, well, let's get over to Austin's point. And it's because keep in mind, these were lean, active people in that group. Hey, Jason, I'm new here. I've lost 42 pounds in the last 6 months, gone through body recomp at 12%, now trying to get down to 10%, 6'3", 208, how to go down from 10%. You just have to keep maintaining a clean diet. It's fasted cardio, calorie deficit is the name of the game. Austin, what I am going to say here, though, because you're talking about percentages, please tell me this is from a DEXA scan and not some sort of bioimpedance scale, because those don't work. So if it's not an actual DEXA scan you paid for, I don't know, change your water intake. It might read 7% one day, right? So just an FYI, don't drop those percentages and set percentage goals unless this is off of a DEXA scan that you're paying $100 a scan for. It's not accurate. So you're going to really set yourself up for problems in terms of your tracking and what you're trying to do. But if assuming it's a DEXA scan, really you just have to keep chipping away. You have to keep chipping away at it. And it's going to be a bit of a process. So you're going to have to keep losing body fat. So keep lifting, keep your protein high, dial your diet in, and just continue the same process that got you down to 42 pounds. But you may need to focus on recomping a little, gaining a little more muscle, pushing the weights a little harder to get that metabolic rate up a little bit to help you. But even then, I mean, that's pretty good stats, dude. You're a pretty good sized guy. Yeah, DEXA. Okay. No, you may not need to increase cardio, Justin or Austin. You may need to just be patient. I mean, increasing cardio will help, but it's also a patience thing. So you've lost 42 pounds in 6 months, right? So you know how to lose weight. So what are we looking at? It's about 5 more pounds of fat loss will get you to 10%. So the same process that got you through the 42 pounds will get you the 47, but you have to be patient and consistent. The main thing is don't rush it in that case. Like you're like, man, I feel like I'm kind of stuck here. All right, step back, assess, be patient, be consistent. Okay, just be consistent with it. And keep in mind, 10% is very lean, totally doable, right? 10%, you're going to have pretty good abs, but you have to look at it as consistency. You're going to have to just keep chipping away. Got to think, be patient and take a couple more months. But I think that's perfectly reasonable, dude. There you go, man. So just keep putting in the work. Consistency. Consistency is everything. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You lost 42 pounds and you just hit 12% on the DEXA scan. Dude, that's amazing. So you need to step back, give yourself some credit for the work that you've put in, right? Think about that for a moment in terms of where you stand compared to the average person. Dude, you're easily in the top 1% in terms of fitness with that. So stop for a minute. Allow yourself to enjoy the success and then get back to the consistency towards the next goal. Don't downplay what you have done, because that's pretty damn solid. That's pretty solid. But as I said, be consistent, continue to go the distance. Consistency. You already know how to get there. You've already done the 42 pounds and you're down to 12%. You know how to do this. What you got to do is step back and say, I got to give myself more time with patience and consistency. And it is that simple, brother. All right. What we got next, guys? It says the guy over here is doing hours and hours of cardio. Okay. But, I'm doing something a little different. This is a business endeavor at this point. All right. And I'm way bigger. I'm bigger than I even need to be for any of my goals, probably. In terms of muscle, I just got to shred down. Occasionally joke and say, do as I say, not as I do as a coach. Now, I try to lead by example, though, with my clients, too, though. But Austin, if you need consultations or coaching, I do have slots open. I do consultation calls. Hit me up on Facebook. You'll see the sticky there. So if you do need additional help, it's a service I offer, both individual one-off 1-hour consultations, and then I also offer full-time coaching. It is my main business. But, up to you, brother. I don't push a hard sell on that, but just letting you know, because you're new here, my Facebook, which links under here, has all the details on that. This is what I do. I got to put up Ted's PRs, though, today. Client Ted hit a 535 sumo and a 260 closed grip. He's at 190 now. We've got a pretty good lean bank for him. Had a very successful. Oh man, the views dropped down to 9 viewers. Come on, guys, what happened there? As we're closing in on the hour. I'm probably going to do a walk here later after this, though. So I may not need to run this too much longer. We might just get ready to go do a walk, especially when the views are down at 10 viewers. What do we got going on Facebook, though? I don't know other comments there. That's been a little slow. All right. But if I can get this a little longer, we're into bonus cardio. Am I going to call 4 hours bonus now? The Followers laugh at that. Coaching is bonus cardio. Okay. All right, let's hopefully get any other questions or comments in here to keep me motivated to stay on here a few more minutes for this one. But yeah, in your case, Austin, patience will go a long way there. But congratulations on what you've done so far, brother. All right. I can see why a lot of people aren't always chiming in. I'm in here a lot with these streams. People can catch plenty of them. Oh, Cass giving a donation, says, keep going. All right, man. I'm going to keep it going. Where people are dropping me money to push it out a few more minutes. I'm probably going to do a walk, though, also, since I don't have a lot of other stuff scheduled besides client sheets. I don't have any calls officially scheduled today. So, I need to get Gustav's vlog. Gustav's sending me the rest of his workout. I can get a vlog up for him tonight, though, if need be. All right. Get all that going. All right. You work. I work 7 days a week right now in my business, dude. We're grinding hard right now. Eventually, I want to get it to a point where I don't have to do that, but these days I have to. Right? In this economy, we got to keep the business flowing. Yeah, I work 7 days a week, dude. My work day is pretty much 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, between all the coaching, social media, everything else. But my cardio is part of the work. I do all the cardio and streams, on my different platforms. Like I'm running this in 2 streams right now. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. So even the cardio that's part of the fat loss for the business is all outreach and business and views. No, there's no days off, man, right now. Once business is where I used to have it, though, I can afford some days off as this economy swings back around. Yeah, I work every day now. We're on that grind. And like I said, this is part of work I'm technically working right now. I get clients, consultations, outreach, ad revenue, like you said, super donation. This is business. But it's engaging my audience business, and it's free access to fans. So, they get access to me. They get questions real time. So it works for everybody, fan service with it. I am getting tired of this bike, though. I really not want to stay on a lot longer. I don't like the bike as much as the walking outside. I enjoy walking outside more. If I can keep a feed connection. The problem is the singular data out there doesn't always let me keep the connections. It does early morning. That's why I did that 2-hour walk. Yeah. Yep. All right. But yeah, we work the weekends, bro. Okay. Do you exclusively train at home? Yeah, pretty much. How do I put this? I don't want to publicly discuss me ever going to gyms. Does that make sense right now? Not saying I'd never go to gyms, but I have for certain reasons. But generally, I'm 99.999% trained at home. Yeah. Keep in mind, the only reason for me to ever go to a public gym is specifically if someone needs me at a public gym or something. Makes sense? I have no need to ever go to a public gym or spend the money or travel or take time out of my work day to do it. I have a full gym at home. I have 14 different barbells. I have 1,500 pounds of plates. I have bands, chains, or reverse hyper adjustable dumbbells that go all the way up to like 150 pounds each. I have no actual reason to go into a gym for training purposes. Make sense? So, just for me personally. Do I prefer training at home? Yeah, I mean, for my purposes, yes. Mainly because I need to film and I need to be shirtless and all that with what I do. So, unless any local gyms are cool with me filming shirtless in them, and they don't mind trolls harassing them, then yes, I prefer to train at home. I pretty much need to for what I do. All right. And it's way more convenient. I can just get up and get my training done. Don't have to travel. Don't have to do anything. Just work out. Absolutely convenience factor. Shamar, I want you to think through that question. No one in their right mind would harass me in person. I have never had a person even be rude to me in person walking around. I'm an over 200-pound power lifter who is strapped. If you don't know what that word strapped means, you're not an American. You really think anyone's going to harass me? No. Trolls will harass venues anonymously, hiding. Does that make sense? People from overseas will harass venues. So no one has ever harassed me in person like you're thinking of. No one in their right mind. So I have no context for a human being being rude to me in person. No, Shamar. Okay, I'm not going to ban you because you dropped money. Can we drop that? We don't just discuss this whole thing really. But no, I said gyms don't mind being harassed. Do they mind random phone calls? Do they mind negative reviews on their page? Does that make sense? By anonymous accounts. So, yeah. So no one's going to harass me in person. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So if I'm filming at a gym and they're allowing me to film shirtless and everyone knows where I'm filming at, they're going to get some trolls. So they have to be okay with that. Make sense? Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. Much better off training at home. Like, so that's the thing. Like, I don't have any preference, honestly. It is tough though doing it with the heat though, the weather, doing it in a garage. That's the only downside. Gyms are climate controlled. Right, gyms are climate controlled, so that's a perk. Not all of them. Iron City wasn't when I trained there, but this is almost at the hour, guys. Wow, what a weirdo. Just had a weirdo in my Facebook I had to get rid of. All right. So we're almost at the hour, about to wind this down because technically the others went overtime. I'm past 4 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and wind it down. Let me end the Facebook. And then I'm going to wind it down in here. I'll probably do a walk here in a bit. So love you guys. I'll talk to you next time.